This is my outfit for today. This is kind of our throw zone, so please ignore that. The shirt is a ship and shore blouse that I've worn before. I purchased it on Etsy for like 17 bucks, and a lot of you guys seem to really love it. It's got a super cute little floral print on it. And then I'm wearing denim shorts that I made. They've got a metal zipper up the side as well as a hook. They've proven to be really comfortable and practical. They're not falling down, and my shirts don't untuck from them. So really liking this. I'm wearing my hair in braids again because I was too tired last night to curl it. I promise I don't wear braids that often. It's just so hot and humid that if I can't make my hair look good down and make my hair manageable down, I put it up in these. Oh, and then I'm wearing the Claire's from American Duchess in white with the ruffly socks. I know I filmed an intro this morning, or at least kind of, but I wanted to give you a little wrap up of how yesterday went because it went really, really well. When we were here last time, we didn't have as many stores to go to, and there was a lot more driving and a lot less browsing, but the timing worked out pretty much perfectly yesterday. We went to all the stops I had listed and they were all really good. But I'm really excited about today because we are starting off with Weaver's Dry Goods, and it's a really good quilt store. It's just very pleasing in the way things are laid out, and the prices tend to be on the expensive side for Lancaster, but still really decent. And then we are going to Black Swan Antiques, which is one of my favorites, so it should be fun, and I'm excited to see what the day will bring. Also, I didn't really give a review of Burke holders. I just said we were going in. I didn't end up buying anything there, but it was really fun to walk around. I don't know, there's just something about how they had the fabric laid out that didn't really speak to me, and even the 1930s prints, which I was really excited about, I just talked myself out of getting any of them because I didn't love any of them. Unless I see something really special that I'm really excited to work with, or something that's at a really good price, I don't think I'm going to be too tempted, but we will have to see how Weaver's goes because they do a beautiful collection of moda, and I recall them having some at 1930s prints as well. So that's where we're off to. Smell like cow poop, so that's 0.1 to Weaver's and -1 to Burke holders. The store opens at 8:30 and it's currently 8:32, so we're going to be those annoying customers that go in right as it opens. So they've got stuff sorted into categories, so there's nautical, there's patriotic, etc. Oh, they have patterns too. No macaws though. There's grumpy cat fabric. So I'm trying to make some selections. I think this would make a really cool skirt, and it would also be really versatile in terms of what I could pair it with. So I think that's going to end up happening. And I absolutely adore this print. I think it's so pretty and summery and happy, and it looks really nice with the yellow gingham. So I think I'm going to end up getting a few yards of this. I still really like the bumblebees, but I don't really know what I would do with them. And they have some other really pretty collections as well. One my mom pointed out, which I like but I'm not completely sold on, are these teacup prints. And though I think these are really cute and they would make an adorable pair of shorts, I don't feel like they would be very versatile within my wardrobe. I don't have a lot that would go with them. I would just end up pairing them with, you know, either black, red, or blue shoes and some sort of white shirt. So I don't know if those are versatile enough to justify getting, but if I turn them into a pair of shorts, then I really only need 1 3/4, so it would really only be a $12 or $15 cut of fabric. So lots of decisions left to be made, and we haven't even gotten back out to the front yet. This is the other one that I absolutely adored. I think it is so cute and retro looking. It is a Michael Miller print, and something like this I could wear with a lot of different things. So I could wear this with brown shoes or red shoes, and a variety of different blouses. So I'm definitely going to get some of this. So this is just a little overview of the store. It definitely doesn't have as much fabric as Burke holders, but the way it's laid out, it's just so much more pleasing to me, and it makes me want to buy significantly more. These prints are just gorgeous. These ones are really pretty. I don't know, there's just something about how the collections are displayed and put together. It's so, so nice. They have the best historical prints here. I purchased some prints for historical dresses yesterday, and they weren't this exciting. But I'm going to try and hold off because I can purchase these online, and I don't really need them, even though they're super lovely. So far, this print is my favorite, but since it goes vertically on the fabric, I couldn't use it for a full-length skirt, which is sad. So this is the downstairs area where they have a lot of their lower price fabrics. So it's things from previous seasons or just lower quality materials in general. But they actually have a lot of cute stuff down here. I have quite the little pile over here. things that look vaguely 1930s-ish. So I think these would be really sweet for skirts, and then these could make really cute dresses. And they're $4.99 a yard, which is fantastic. And then over here, this is actually the collection I showed you in the first fabric store that we went into a couple days back. So this is the print I used for my 1840s dress, and they've got some other cute ones in the collection too. So this is where you can find them if you're in the Lancaster area. But yeah, there's actually a good amount of stuff down here that I really like. I love all of them. How are you meant to choose? I think I'm gonna pass on this one, even though it looks really cute, just because I feel like not incorporating those red and blues makes it a little bit more versatile. But at the same time, since it has the red and blue in it, I might be more inclined to pair it with those colors. So that's a toughie. And then I also found this cherry print, which I just think is adorable. It's so, so, so cute. And they have these little dogs, and I feel like I need little dogs. This floral is pretty amazing too. I love the colors in it. But my mom found the teacups, and I still really like the teacups, but I don't know if the teacups are versatile enough for me to get them. But they are so cute. And then this I obviously love, and I've mentioned before. So, not really sure what I'm going to do. So we're just leaving Weaver's. We killed an hour and a half in there, and it was a very pleasant hour and a half. It's just such a beautiful store, and the people who work there are really nice, and how they have things laid out, it really adds to the experience. Like, I think if you're driving through the area and you want to go to one quilt store, that is the one you should go to. I'm excited to go to the antique stores, but that was definitely a good way to start off the day. And I'm probably going to eat some potato chips because we didn't really have breakfast. This is how you get to the store. I think you go straight
over the parking lot.
Yeah. It's kind of like you're going to get murdered, but instead you're going to look at hundreds of thousands of antiques. So yeah, that's the sign for it right there, the red one. And then
I still feel like I'm going to get murdered.
So you just go around, continue straight ahead. See, isn't this welcoming? Oh, they've got flowers outside. It's a delight. If you go over there, you might get murdered. But if you stay on this side, you're fine. So as you may have guessed, we have made it. Look at all of the hat pins. And then that's, I think, a vintage sewing kit. It's a beautiful sewing kit. They have a bunch of that glassware I like in here too. So that is part of it, which we just walked through. And then there's this back area, which we're going to go through now. It's funny, these smaller boxes are always so much more expensive than the full-size furniture. Yeah. So this is $310, and I bet that thing over there is $200. Like, it's really dramatic, since this is such a displayable piece. They tend to be a lot more expensive even though they're smaller. I think they're adorable.
It's a little chihuahua.
Yeah, that's ugly. This is a much better place to show you my outfit. Okay, I know it's a baby calf getting milk, but that is a choice of a thing to make a figurine of. I bought this exact vase here last year, and I've looked online. I haven't been able to find any others or anything about it. So to see another one in the same store is so funny. It's $50. And I think I paid $30 or $40 for mine last year. Oh, but I could have them be like sisters and them both holding feathers. Oh my goodness, she's so pretty. It doesn't really show up on camera, but the glaze is like an iridescent glaze, so there are all these different colors in it. I really like that. So another little swan. I don't think I showed them, but I ended up purchasing 2 of these at one store. They were a little bit larger though, and by Lennox. Oh, this is cute. I broke my bobby pin holder right before we left, so if I see anything they think would be a good replacement candidate, I shall get it. I like how that's framed. It's a pretty print too. I've never seen that one before, which makes me think it's not real. Check the bottom. Usually when they're fakes, they don't replicate the same eyes though, and they did a really good job with the face, but the body details aren't right. So we are just leaving Black Swan Antiques. I really like that store. It's not the biggest of the antique malls. I don't think it has the best prices, but I love how different all of the booths are. It really is just kind of a joy to walk through and to look at things. And I ended up getting a necklace that was like $2, a set of vintage buckles that was like $3, and then I purchased the lady head vase along with a little tray for needles to go next to my sewing machine. So I'm really happy with what I got. Oh, and I also bought a Victorian brooch, which was I think $18, and it's really pretty. So I know that's gonna look really nice on a historical costume. I'm
your mom wants you to mention that they have really nice bathrooms.
Took a picture of the bathrooms. Yes, they definitely win a best bathroom award in terms of how they have that done up. And they let you use it, which is, you know, a plus. We are now 2 minutes away from the next stop, which is Crossroads Antiques. And this is a huge barn of antiques.
I'm gonna need a bigger piece of paper.
I like that for pins. Pretty cabinet. More clothing. We're now downstairs where the booths are. That's the cutest ship. I really want to make an 18th century ship hat. And I actually just bought one at a previous store for like $3, but that's very cute. I really like that one. Am I crazy for finding that kind of cute?
Yeah.
I don't have enough of a need for it, but I love these glove holders. Camera, you're brand new, you can focus. It won't focus. Fine then, I won't share it. They have a unicorn, and I'd be interested in it if it didn't look like a goat that has a horn. My mom thinks I should start collecting shoes. Like porcelain shoes, not real shoes. I'm clearly already very good at collecting real shoes. But it bothers me that none of them are the same size since they were made by so many different brands. That's a cute little ring holder. Before I fell in love with Florence's, I looked into collecting the Joseph ceramics because I think they're really cute. They do a lot of applied flowers on the skirts of their figurines, which are just lovely. And these are really sweet too. So we made it to Old Factory Antiques. We ended up going the wrong direction, but we're here now, and I'm looking forward to going in. It's really nice going to stores that I'm familiar with because it means I know I like them and that they're well laid out, but there is a certain level of excitement towards going into a shop that you're unfamiliar with because you never know what you might find. So we'll see what this is like. It also has an ice cream cellar outside, which makes me very excited. I'm buying 2 pieces of vintage clothing, but I haven't filmed very much because it's very, very warm in here. They don't have air conditioning. And I don't really want to film when it's this hot. Okay, this is totally not where I thought we were going. I thought this was right across the street from Burning Bridges, which we're going to next, but it's actually in a whole different little part of Columbia. So we're gonna go on in and see what it's like. Cute little cabinet. I don't know why it has fur on it. I could put that on a hat. Oh look, what a great deal. That's cute. It's an old seed display. Potato chips boxes. They have so many of these here. So we are going to try and find an antique store that we drove past on our way here. Oh, it's taking us a different route, so I don't think we'll see it.
We're just turning, so we should be.
We'll see how it goes. That store is kind of disappointing. It was a little bit sparse and they didn't really have anything that sparked my interest. Prices did seem relatively reasonable. They had some display cases, they had some furniture, so it was a nice variety of things. It just wasn't anything that we wanted to buy. This would go great with my costumes. I recalled this place being air conditioned, but maybe not. We're in the basement now, and we were just saying that the furniture here is gorgeous. It's very warm in here, but it's beautiful. They also have these really big cuts of wood, so if you want to do like counters or something, that'd be cool. Ooh, pants. When we were in Canada on a trip, I purchased a jacket from the 1940s, a military jacket, and those are matching pants. So after a lot of driving around and frantic phone searching, we ended up coming across I don't even remember the name of it, do you? It doesn't even say.
403 North 3rd Street.
403 North 3rd Street. So it's a little antique shop that is on the way to Burning Bridges, which is where we are going now. Allegedly, the store is open until 8 p.m, so hopefully we will have a bit of time to look around. The store we just came from, it was fine. It was, I thought, really reasonably priced the majority of the things, but it just wasn't super riveting. It's not one that I would make a note of going back to. But I did pick up some buttons, and I'm always happy when I buy buttons. But I'm looking forward to going to Burning Bridges, because I remember it being pretty good. Ooh, buttons. This is a really cute little sewing machine. It's one of the first ones I felt that doesn't lock up, it actually still turns. But what a clever design, huh? They're still functional, so a lot of them are really expensive. Again, it's one of those situations like with the little cabinets where the miniatures tend to be more expensive than the full-sized ones. Very cute hat, but it's on a creepy head, so I don't want to try it on. I didn't even see these. Yeah, she's creepy, we don't like her.
It's an Amish hat. I don't think it really works with yours though.
I'm thinking this bonnet might be from 1810. It's really reminiscent of Regency styles, but I can't tell if it's supposed to be a children's bonnet or if it fits me. But it's really cool just as a piece almost for study. As you can tell, the silk's kind of coming apart, but it's really, really lovely. I think that's got to be 1810. And they have this hat, which I absolutely love, so I'm considering a couple things from them. Is it a loofah or is it a 1950s hat? It's a hat! Oh, they have a couple hats. Wow.
It's $20.
What is it?
It's an angel.
Is it?
It's a large black and gold angel.
I feel like they're offensive. I don't know why. So this is the basement, and it's huge. They have a lot of like architectural salvage sort of stuff and some furniture. But they also have books and some smaller items and clothing. Though none of it piqued my interest. I thought these were old-fashioned curling irons, and I was like, wow, they're attached to this whole box that feeds them electricity, and it's a welder. So we have just left Burning Bridges. That store is nice. It's air-conditioned, which we were happy about because the last couple weren't. And they have a really good selection of stuff. They've got military memorabilia, they have trains, they have toys, they have Barbies and dolls and hats, which I appreciated, along with a lot of furniture and some books. So I think it has a really good mix if you're going with other people who have different interests. I know sometimes my brother and my dad have gone into antique stores and I'm often very happy, but they don't tend to have a lot to look at. So this is something for everybody, and the prices I think are pretty good. They kind of range, but they're generally quite good. And they even have architectural salvage stuff in the basement, so it really is a wide variety of things. Got 3 hats, and then I also got a figurine. So as I've said many times throughout this trip, I collect Florence Ceramics figurines, and I have probably 2 dozen of the female figurines at home, and I only have 2 male figurines, and they both go with specific female figurines. So I don't know anything about the male figurines, but they had one there that had the similar writing and the similar sculpture and painting technique and gold work that you see on the female figurines. So I think it's a Florence, and it was $14 plus 25% off, so I decided to get it. But I really don't know that that is actually part of the collection. So I'm actually kind of excited to have that to Google when we get back to the hotel, because it's a nice looking figurine. I haven't seen a lot of the male ones in person. So now we are going back to our hotel. It's about 20 minutes away, and we are once again quite eager to eat. We've been snacking all day, but we skipped lunch again because there was antiquing to be done. So now we're going back, and I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow because I don't think I will feel very much like filming once we get back to the hotel, and I don't think anything exciting is going to happen there. But look, I'm ending a day of filming for once instead of just starting again in the morning. Crappy hotel outfit of the day number 2. It is currently Saturday. We are going to some quilt stores this morning and then hitting up Strasbourg Antiques in the afternoon. So this is what I am wearing. I have on a embroidered blouse from the 70s, which is kind of similar to embroidered blouses from the 30s, but was much, much cheaper. And then I have on the denim shorts that I made, and I'm gonna wear my red bowling shoes from Bait today as well. I'm trying to switch up the shoe situation every day so I don't get too bad of blisters. So these guys today, and then back in the Claire's tomorrow. I don't think I mentioned this last night, but after we ate dinner, we switched around the car a little bit. So instead of sitting on that side with 2 seats up, I'm sitting on this side with 1 seat up. And that's so we can fit more stuff in the car because we bought more stuff than would actually fit in the car. Our first stop of the day is going to be for coffee and gas, and then we are going over to Zook's, which is in Bird-in-Hand. So it's a really touristy part of Lancaster County, but it's a quilt store that has really good prices. So I'm hoping they will have some fun prints that I could potentially get, and I'm also hoping to raid their homespun collection. I made it to Zook's. I really like this fabric. I think it's super cute. I recall them having a lot of prints here. These are really cute too. Wouldn't that make a nice something gown? It's Moda, so it feels awesome too. That's like a neat twist on.
That's pretty.
The typical floral. I really like this mauvey, like kind of corally color. I think that's gorgeous. 30s! I totally missed the 30s.
And it's little animals with skulls.
Oh my gosh, look at this one. It's little, they have bunnies on scooters. I actually really like this. That would be fun to work with. Fun as in it would drive most people crazy.
Yes.
My type of fun. I think this one is just adorable, but I honestly don't think I would wear something that I made out of it that often. I got so many 30s prints at Weavers that I'm struggling to justify any of these. They do have a really, really cute selection. This was another one that I really, really liked, but I don't know what I would do with it. So I think I'm gonna have to pass on it too. I loved that fish print that I made a dress with so much, and now trying to find a print that tops that just seems impossible. And I came really close yesterday, but I didn't love the color of it enough, so I didn't get it. I like both of these. This one I think is more similar to the pattern, but I think the darker tone complements it better. So I'm gonna get a yard of this one just for contrast, maybe to decorate a bonnet. I'm considering this. It's kind of a weird color, but it is a really nice weight. It's such a good price for a upholstery fabric. I could make it into an 18th century dress. But I don't know if I want to put that much effort in when using a fabric in that color. This one's cool too, and I feel like that's a really good color on me. So that was successful. I didn't end up getting any homespuns because I didn't really find the homespun section, but that's fine. I didn't need any. I still haven't used the ones I purchased last year, even though I really liked them. But I did end up getting 2 quilt fabrics, so I purchased enough for 2 dresses. One of the ones I'd been looking at and kind of thinking about ended up being half off, so I figured it was worth getting for that price. And then I purchased another one to go with a old ship that I purchased for an 18th century headpiece. So I was happy to find that, and in there all of their quilting cons were 20% off, so it was a pretty good deal, a better deal than I'd find online for that quality of fabric. I also purchased an upholstery fabric, which was kind of a surprise, or home decor fabric, I guess. So it's a jacquard, and it's actually pretty lightweight for home decor fabric, and it's in a really pretty green goldish color. So now we are on our way to the Old Country Store, which is a fabric shop and tourist destination, and I'm probably gonna turn my camera off and help my mom find it. I kind of want it. It matches my color scheme.
Right?
So I've officially started a pile of lettuce fabric, which sounds as weird as it is. But now we're looking at the historic prints, and they're so nice. And this is just like super satisfying. Ah. We have more over here. I'm not gonna get it, but the bees are freaking adorable. I love them. So we have just left the Old Country Store. We're kind of just going because we were in the area since we went to Zook's, but we're both really glad that we went because it's a nice store. They don't have as much fabric as some of the other stores, but they display it in a really, really pleasing manner. They sort things by color instead of collection. So though all the 1930s prints are together, instead of being sorted by category, it fades from yellow to blue to purple to pink, and it's just so nice looking through the materials there, and it's a really inspiring way to have it laid out, especially if you're doing quilting. This really neat line where it's all clusters of lettuce, and it's a really large print, and it just looks like a floral or something abstract from a distance, but when you get up close it's like very clearly lettuce. And I really like the color combinations they used with that. It's kind of fulfilled the hole in my heart that the fish fabric left, and that it's a very wacky print, it's a very vibrant print, and I think I'm gonna have fun using it. So now we are driving about 10 minutes away to go to Log Cabin Quilts, which I think is one of my mom's favorite stores, but she doesn't really remember it. And I don't think I'm gonna get anything there. I'm like fairly confident that I'm not gonna get anything there, but I will enjoy having a little peek around. They are made for quilting and doing hand stuff, but these wools are amazing. They're so good for historical costumes, and I'm really tempted to get another color. I got this really pretty mauve-y tone last time, but this blue is catching my eye. They have some really unique colors that you don't usually see in suiting, like the mustard and the oranges. They have some really affordable, really nice quilts here too, if that's something you're interested in. This is such a ridiculous amount of work. Each square is bound with bias binding and stitched together by hand. I need to stop saying I'm not going to buy anything because it's always a lie. So once again, I left with some fabric, and this time around I got this really pretty quilting cotton in this pale blue tone. Throughout this entire trip, I've been saying how much I like this color, and it's just stunning. So they had this, and it was $3.99 a yard. So I actually purchased 12 yards, which is enough for an 1880s kind of casual, bustly dress. And then they had a complimentary kind of darker blue. So I got a yard of that. And I also purchased this strawberry fabric just because I thought it was adorable. It's kind of a watercolor print, but it's also quite realistic. So I thought this would be sweet for a blouse. But I'm mostly excited about the bustle dress. That's something that I really want to make. So I'm really glad that I got that, even if I hadn't planned on spending money there. So now we are probably going to loop around because it looked like an antique mall that was here a few years back has reopened. It was closed last year and I was kind of devastated, but it looked open when we drove past it. So we're going to loop around back to there, and then we're going to go to Strasbourg because there are a couple of antique places in Strasbourg. So we just went into, I think it's called Old Village Store or something. It's right near the quilt shop we just left in Bird in Hand. And it's kind of a sad story with that set of shops. It used to be this huge, almost hoarded, it was so compact, antique thing with all of these different vendors. And it was actually the thing that kind of got me into antiques and antiquing because it was such a delightful experience, just like looking around and having so many things to look at. I found it so interesting and so fun. So then next year when we came, it was closed. And this year it was open again, but it's much sparser. It's funny because it's a huge building, but it feels so much smaller now that there's less to look at in it. But I'm glad that they're up and running to some degree, and the prices they had were really reasonable. So I'm curious to see what it will be like next year if they manage to get more vendors, and hopefully the pricing will stay the same. We were going to go to Cackleberry Antique Mall and then a couple other independent antique shops, but it's an area that has a lot of antiques. So we just spotted a sign that says antiques and pulled in, and we will check it out. Look, the spout's a duck. I was just looking at this piece of furniture, which is way too big for us to take back, but it would be the perfect little makeup table. It has all of these tiny little drawers, so imagine that full of eyeshadow, and this one for eyeliners, and then in here you could put all of your eyeshadow palettes, and it would be glorious. If you live in this area, someone buy this and make my makeup vanity dreams come true. It's beautiful. We're in the shop next door now, and this is a folk art sewing machine. So the needle and everything moves, that's made entirely out of wood. Super cool. So we just got out of a White Horse Antiques, which is one we just pulled off the road for. I gather they've reopened at this new location. I think it's actually called White Horse Antiques too. So maybe they have two stores. But it was a little bit sparse, I think, since they are so new. However, I did get a print from the 1860s, which I think is really pretty. And then we went into the store right next to it, which I think is called Paradise Antiques, and I wouldn't really recommend that one. I found their prices really expensive, and they just didn't have a lot of interest. So now we are back on our way to Cackleberry Antique Mall. So I saw this hat rack through the window and got all excited. Oh, they have clothing too, but look at all the boxes. They're all hat boxes. Oh my gosh, there's so many. None of them will fit my stupidly large head, but I will try. A lot of people have asked me where I got button earrings from. They were my mom's from the 80s, but antique stores and thrift stores have a ton of them, and they're usually really inexpensive if you're interested. These are like $1 each, so I'm gonna get them to pair with 1950s style dresses. They're really lightweight. Yeah, and I think they're pretty colors. They're good length on me. And as I said, the price is definitely right. We just got out of Cackleberry Antique Mall. I keep wanting to call it Crackle Barrel, and that's not what it is. It was really nice. They had a wide variety of things, and prices were generally pretty reasonable, though they did vary a lot depending on the vendor. But they had a little bit of vintage clothing, they had some vintage hats, they had tools, they had jewelry, they had figurines, they had more masculine stuff and kind of junkier booths and really polished ones. It was a very nice variety of things, and there was lots of room to walk around, and the staff was nice too. So I ended up purchasing a hat, and it actually came in its box, which is really cool. And then on top I piled the other things that I got. So I got a 1960s blouse, which might fit me, otherwise I'm going to resell it. I purchased a pair of ridiculous earrings and a really nice Edwardian style necklace, though definitely wasn't from the Edwardian era considering it was $4. But this is the hat. It is so cute and so comfortable, and I don't know when I'm going to wear it, but I love it. So that was my haul from them. So this is where we are now. There's Old Mill Antiques over there. Is Strasbourg Antique Market right there. I was a little bit worried that I'd gotten Cackleberry and this place confused and that we weren't going to end up at this place, but it turns out they're both on our list. This bracelet is hilarious. It's an alligator. This is the same print that I purchased earlier in the week, which is kind of funny. And there's a fake Florence, an imposter. This is Old Mill Antiques, and they have the best furniture. Like seriously, just beautiful Edwardian pieces. Really reasonably priced. This is like for when you want to store your books and your birds in the same unit. But yeah, just gorgeous furniture. It's all way too big for us to take home. I love these, but I don't need them, so I'm gonna leave them behind. However, they are by Andrea from 1985, so if I regret not getting them in the future, I can find them again, though probably not for $20 for a set of 5. Our next stop, it's called Antique Village, and it's basically a series of 3 little independent shops clustered together. New in box, set from the 70s. That's so cool. My mom doesn't appreciate this, so maybe one of you will. It's a set from the 1940s that includes everything you need to do snap fasteners. Then it's just the leftover box from one. But I think that's so cool that the kit is completely intact. They have some buttons too. So this is the second little store. Oh wow, that's cool. Wow. They're a lot bigger when they're next to you. Old containers of Singer sewing machine oil. Then down here there are buttons and feed sack bags. So these are very reminiscent of the 30s prints I've been obsessed with and buying a lot of throughout this trip. This is the downstairs, so it's a little bit less organized, which is fine. Toaster from the 70s, still new in box. So it is currently 5:11. We had a really early finish for today. We ended up going to Strasbourg and going into a couple of antique stores. So it was a successful day, and we're done earlier than I thought we would be.
Goodwill.
Oh, and then we went to Goodwill on our way home, and I ended up getting a coat. It's a really nice red coat from the 80s, so it has shoulder pads in it. And it's relatively slim cut, so it's kind of 1940s-ish, late 1940s-ish, and it ended up being like $7, and it's in perfect condition. So that was a really good deal, though it's not something that I needed. I must say in general I don't really like thrifting. I love going through the antique stores and I really enjoy that experience, but there's something about most of the thrift stores I've been into that just don't suit my fancy. And maybe it's just because I haven't been in good thrift stores, but they're definitely not something that I look forward to going into the way I do with antique markets. But yeah, overall it was a really good day today. We actually ended up getting finished a little after 3, so we had time to go back to anything that we felt we needed to, but we were pretty happy and confident in our purchases, so we didn't really feel like going back to anything. So we went to Walmart and we picked up some stuff to help pack our car, and now we're in Five Guys getting dinner. So we were just reflecting on our purchases and how many figurines and hats and dresses we, by that I mean me, have purchased. So this is our vehicle. The front seat is completely packed. It looks like a hoarded car. It's ridiculous. And then we moved back and it still looks like a hoarded car. But I'm really pleased I managed to fit everything in here. My mom and I were talking about it last night, but last year when we came, we barely bought anything in the antique malls. The antique malls either weren't as good or we just didn't go to as many of them and we didn't feel inclined to buy a lot. But this time we've both been on the hunt for figurines, I've been on the hunt for clothing and hats, and we've ended up with a lot more stuff. So now we are heading home, but we're going to go to Renninger's on the way, and then there are 2 antique places in Allenstown that we're going to. We ended up leaving Renninger's. We spent about 2 hours there just wandering around. I'd say the highlight of it this time were 2 sellers who had a bunch of vintage clothing and a bunch of vintage shoes. There were so many beautiful examples of 1940s footwear. None of it was big enough to fit my foot or my hand, but they were really, really amazing to look at and see in person, and they were quite similar to the shoes that I was wearing today, which was funny. I ended up purchasing some pages from magazines from the 1914s, which I thought were really neat and would be very usable as references. There's a really lovely woman selling those. And then I also purchased some patterns. I got a killer deal on some vintage patterns from one of the places who actually had the shoes that wouldn't fit me. And they had feed sacks and stuff too. It was a really cool booth. The other really neat booth there was like 4 or 6 booths worth of stuff. She had a large area claimed to herself and just racks and racks of clothing from 1880 to 1980, but a lot of really nice vintage pieces. The downside was that it was very expensive. Even relatively normal-ish looking kind of common hats were about $45, so I think that gives you a guideline for what the pricing of the clothing was. We are on our way to the places in Allenstown, which is about half an hour away. This is one of the places. This is Wheel Antique Center, so it looks good. I really want a strawberry brooch, and I think the ones in there are super cute, so I might have to come back for those. It is called Strasbourg by Oelde. It's just a print, so I'm not going to pay $200 for it, but I love that picture. I just came across this old Vogue Patterns unit, and I love it so much. It's about $1,000, but it's in amazing condition. So this would have been in a store and it would have stocked all the patterns. Oh, I love it so much, but that I think I would really struggle to fit in our car. So we are now headed home. We went to the final 2 antique places. The first one we went into was pretty nice. There wasn't a lot there that I was interested in except for that vintage pattern cabinet, which I'm still absolutely in love with, but unfortunately would not fit in our car. But it was so neat, and that I feel like is a once in a lifetime sort of find. And then the next one we went to was really awful. So we are now about 2 hours from home. I'll film little bits and pieces of it, but we've got a lot of stuff in the car, so I've got a lot of crap to try and put the camera over. Look at all that smoke and pollution. Look at all the cranes and construction work.
It's gotta be Manhattan over there.
What else would it be? Los Angeles is so pretty during this time of year. Apparently that was the Goebbels Bridge, and now we're on our way to the Verrazano Bridge. So I'll update you then.